All right, guys. So day three coming at you. In this one, we're going to get straight to it. Your results are not decided by motivation, and they're not decided by having a belief system. It is decided by your daily operating system. This is the things you do every single day that allow you to not be in a state of panic, to not be in a state of overwhelm, to not feel like everything is attacking you, but to be able to accept and address different problems and circumstances in your life. If you're watching this, whether you are an existing entrepreneur and business owner or you are an aspiring one, you are going to get paid based off the size of the problem you can solve. So if every single morning you are waking up discombobulated, you don't know the actions you need to take every single day, you're not keeping track of your time, etc., you are going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to have anxiety. You're going to feel like you have no control over your life. But if you can control the controllable, accept what you can't, you'll watch your anxiety dissipate. And that's a saying that I give all the time to anybody that I work with. And so we're going to run through a series of things that I feel as exercises and things I do every single day will help every single one of you guys. Starting with a morning routine. Now, call this corny, call it tacky, but there's several reasons why a morning routine is extremely important. You guys can screenshot this, implement it into your own system day to day as you wish. Download Google Calendar, throw this whole thing in there, set the settings so that it repeats every single day, and you'll be good to go. But how you start your day is how you finish your day. And most people don't understand that in the beginning of their day, you don't have enough oxygen in your brain to create positive emotion. So if you try to think about this, it's a pretty crazy exercise. When was the last time that when you first woke up, without someone else around you to stimulate you, you smiled or you laughed? It sounds almost crazy because your brain and the membrane of your brain is going to deplete over time, using any bit of hydration and oxygen as it can to feed itself. So when you wake up, that's why you feel foggy and groggy. A morning routine, if done correctly, is going to help allow you to move throughout your day without seeing everything as problems and seeing solutions instead. And it's also going to allow you to be able to accept and address problems rather than feel like everything is attacking you. In entrepreneurship, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And it's a simple perspective shift that a lot of times having a good operating system can help with. Every high performing individual on the planet, I firmly believe, has a good operating system. You cannot tell me that high level athletes, high level business people, whether they have a virtual assistant that helps them or not, doesn't know what they're going to do the next day before they start. You cannot tell me that they don't have some form of a routine or a ritual that allows them to maintain focus and clarity every day without burning out. You can't tell me that they see everything as problems, because if they did, they would have never got to the level of success they are at. So your morning routine is very crucial. You don't have to follow mine to a T. This is just an example. But when you first wake up in the morning, I encourage you to try to beat the sun up. There's something to that. And then once you wake up, the first thing for me, you don't have to be religious, but I pray. After I pray, this is where all of these things as far as oxygen start to come into play. So we are going to try to flood our nervous system with as much oxygen as possible so we can reestablish some connection to ourselves and so that we can start to think clearly without waking up and taking 30 minutes to an hour before we ever actually get moving. Now, here's an unwritten rule I want to give you, and I hope you guys are still with me on this one, but do not look at your phone. Do not look at your phone until this is entirely done. There's going to become a part in this routine where you are going to look at your phone, for example, using a specific app for like meditation. But outside of that, don't look at your phone. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you have a team, etc., you have employees, you have sales reps, they're going to come to you with all their problems, all of their baggage. You're going to see way more negativity on your phone when you first wake up than positivity most times. Why would you start your day that way? I'm going to go stack enough wins so that mentally I am calculated, I am controlled, I feel clear, I'm focused, and I'm able to accept and address these things rather than waking up and feeling attacked and like, oh crap, I need to get this and I need to do that. That's not the point. So I encourage you so that you can get good sleep, don't have any blue light, turn off the screens 30 minutes before bed. These are simple things you guys likely have heard a lot of times. But once you've done the first few things, for me, washing my hair, throwing it under the sink, cold water, splashing cold water in my face, it's going to shock my nervous system. Once I've done that, that's where we're going to start to replenish hydration. There's a difference between going and getting a cold glass of water and doing electrolytes. Electrolytes, if you guys want some examples, I just do Santa Cruz. They have some really good ones. I like the orange. I like the prickly pear flavors. They're pretty good. And then supplements, these could be vitamins, whatever it is that you're taking for health and wellness. But when you do this, if you flood your body with a large amount of electrolytes in water early, just 1 cup, for example, and 1 scoop, 2 scoops, you are going to feel replenished. It's going to help. And as soon as I do that, I then go outside and I do gratitude and breath work. I have a really good mentor of mine. He's a Forbes 30 million under 30 recipient. And he always uses a saying for gratitude that goes like this: I am so happy and grateful now that I have blank by blank. So, what are you grateful for, and when is it that you're accomplishing it? This is a forward focused goal. You speak your reality into existence. Conor McGregor always says it, but it's not only if you believe it, but if you're willing to speak it, that then it will come true. Most people don't have the accountability to throw something out into the world, to say something even to themselves, let alone other people or on social media, and hold themselves to it. So, every morning I wake up, for example, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have successfully enrolled 1,000 new members into the Level 99 project. That's what it is that I build my community around, helping them accomplish their goals and establishing real abundance in my own life. Very simple, right? But at the end of this, I'm saying by 2026. So, what are you looking to accomplish? What are you so happy and grateful for? And what are you looking to do it by? That's a simple method you can use. But you can also just say what you're grateful for. I'm grateful for my family, for my health, for being able to wake up today, for not being the kid in the third world country that doesn't have opportunity. Most of you guys watching this, you are far more blessed than you realize. And a lot of times you need to self-reflect on that. If you're not grateful for where you are now, you're not going to be grateful at any point in time for what you're going to be given in the future. And so breath work is another thing you can do to flood your oxygen in your nervous system. 10 deep breaths. I'm talking like do 10 of those bad boys. Tell me that you don't feel more clear after you do it. Now you're just stacking wins here. That's the goal. Stack enough wins so that by the time you look at your phone and you solve problems, you put out fires as a business owner, that's all you're getting paid to do, bottom line. You are ready to accept and address them. You are ready to go ahead and control your day. Now, the next thing for me, I read one page of a positive book. Think and Grow Rich is a good place to start if you don't already have a positive book in mind, but one page, it's all I need. I don't like to read a ton. I've read the book 4 or 5 different times. I don't have all the time in the day. If you want to read more, great. Meditation is one of the best practices you can do if you can get disciplined enough to do it frequently. Now, I say discipline. I've talked about discipline several other times in this series already. And discipline is doing the things you don't want to do that get you to where you want to go, most people say. But the reason I use discipline here, I don't like discipline because why would you tell yourself it's things you don't want to do? Just detach yourself from don't want to do it and attach yourself to what you do want. I want to get better. I want to grow. I want to be more organized day to day, for example. So I must meditate because that's going to help me get there. But discipline, a lot of times, is things early on when you don't have organization that is almost required because you're not going to want to do it early. Once you get into the routine, it will become your best friend. You can download the app Brightmind or Calm and follow some of their protocol. A lot of these are paid for apps, but it's worth it. Trust me. So if you do this every single morning, 5-10 minutes a day, you are going to have a lot better chance to accept and address things rather than feel like everything's a problem, everything's attacking you. You'll be in a lot more control of your emotions. We're going to be talking more about emotional intelligence and regulation as we go here. But after that, I eat. Get something simple in, some quick carbs, some protein. Then this is when I finally pick up my phone. Not until I've done all this will I pick up my phone. I'm not perfect. I miss some days, but if I do this and I do it routinely, I feel way better and I'm going to be a high-speed ninja throughout my day, man. Trust me. So this is when I get outside, I get some fresh air, I get some vitamin D, and I open my phone while I'm walking. I would do a walk around the block, 2 walks around the block. Sometimes I'll get a piece of content up, but I'm attacking the highest level problems right away. Now I am calculated and I'm ready to respond collectively. And then after that, I go to the gym. That's a simple morning routine. How you start your day is how you're going to finish your day. Now we're going to get into time blocking. Millionaires plan in hours, billionaires plan in minutes, average people live day to day. So if you're watching this video and you want to be a high level operator, whether you're scaling an offer, you're scaling a sales team, you're running a business, it doesn't matter. I want you to ask yourself what you're doing for the rest of the day. Can you define that hour by hour? Because if not, good luck making $1 million. You can't tell me someone like Elon Musk, who's got 12 kids, decorrupting government files, running the biggest space agency in the world, Tesla, etc., doesn't know what he's doing every day. You bet your ass he does. And so there's a few different tips and tricks that you can apply for time blocking. I recommend using Google Calendar and getting your days planned before you wake up. One thing in particular, I encourage you, I got this from Alex Hormozi, to have a 9 to 1 p.m. or a high production window. He calls it the $10,000 hour. What's crazy about him, if you don't know Alex Hormozi, you're living under a rock. He's built several $100 million businesses, I believe, at this point in his mid-30s. And he, to this day, as busy as he is running multiple companies, he still sets apart 4 a.m. to noon every single day for just him, where he's not even answering phone calls, nothing. That's crazy. That's 8 hours. Most people only work 8 hours and they say they want something. So think about that, for example. But the reason he does that is because most times when you build momentum in a business, you start to get success, you start to deviate from the things that got you the success. Right? So this is something that he does to continuously focus forward and do the things that got him there, right? This is prospecting, this is content, this is follow-up. These are the things that move the needle. Now, Ed Mylett, worth about $1 billion, an entrepreneur, made his money through direct sales, podcasts, public speaking. Awesome. Go look him up. There's a great book he has called The Power of One More. You can read that one as well. But the Ed Mylett framework for time is he used to say when you have a job or you have other things, he would block off a day into 2 or 3 different days. So think of it as, for example, 3 8-hour days in one. Now you're sleeping for 8 and you have 2 working days inside of one. It might sound crazy, but what if you are full time, for example, as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a business owner, leading a team? What if you did break up your day and you did double the amount of volume each day that you normally do in one, or that most other people in your competitiveness, or your competitors rather, are doing, right? So like what if from, let's say, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. you're doing, what would that be? Would that be 4 hours or 8 hours? 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Let's say you're doing everything that you would do in a normal working day. And then again from 2 to 10, you're doing it again, and then you go to sleep. You're getting way more done. This is something that he said he did to collapse time frames and get more done than other people. If you're starting out in business, for example, we talked about this a little bit in, I believe, the last boot camp video. But if you're not coming to your opportunity, to your industry with very many skills, the only way you're going to be able to beat other people is by outworking them. Prioritizing your time and doing something like this may help just develop a psychological game with yourself so that you get more done each day than everybody else. There's no way you won't beat the next person if you start at the same level playing field and you do more than them. And that's why volume negates lux. It's more of what works, less of what doesn't. Most people overcomplicate business. What do I need to change? What do I need to do different? What do I need to add in? That's usually not the case. What got you there? What works? Double down on those things. Now, the next thing. This is where we're going to be talking a lot about what you put into your body and being optimized, right? Being the best version of yourself, not just, financially, but mentally and physically and spiritually. So there's a little equation I'll give you here. The energy you put into the gas tank is the energy that then comes out of the gas tank. And that's how you're going to then be able to execute in terms of speed to solve problems and to scale your business. So here's an analogy. You got two drivers. You got a 2025 Lamborghini, you got a full tank of gas, you're running premium fuel in that thing, and every part of the vehicle is optimized. You're going to get there faster, you're going to look good, you're going to feel good, etc. Very few roadblocks along the way. And then there's people that operate like a 2013 Mitsubishi, where you got a half tank, leaky oil, cheap gas, and here's how it works. Both of them floor it. One of them glides, the other sputters, stalls, overheats. You got a freaking broken windshield, you got a flat tire, you got an oil leak, and every mile down the road, you're stopping. That's how a lot of people operate. You're foggy, you're groggy, you don't take care of what actually gets you there. You are the vehicle. That's why they say health is wealth and your body is your temple. It's not mindset. This is maintenance, right? Most entrepreneurs burn out not because they lack motivation or ability to do the work, but because your biology is all out of whack. I don't know. Some people can make a lot of money not being in shape and not taking care of themselves, but I also believe people buy people. So are you purchasable to the man in the mirror? Do you even like what you see? Because if you take care of yourself and you put the right fuel in the gas tank, get rid of crappy seed oils, get rid of an overwhelming amount of bad carbs and fat, stick to high quality proteins, you'll have more energy, you'll have more focus, you'll feel good, you'll look good, and you're gonna get to the destination faster than someone that doesn't take care of themselves. That's exactly how this works. Now, the next thing I'll talk about in terms of being able to collapse time frames and succeed. Success is an elimination process, right? So a lot of people try to ask themselves, what do I need to do different? What do I need to do more of once again? And it's really not the result. What do you need to stop doing? Because that's where you're going to get a lot of your time back. You'll feel less overwhelmed, right? So you're not limited by what you do or what you can do. You're limited by what you refuse to stop doing. So these are the people, the distractions, the temptations, the vices, etc. Now, one thing about the elimination equation, you can't just take things away, because that's where you create scarcity and you start to have anxiety. If you have a vice, if you like nicotine, if you like alcohol, drugs, porn, Netflix, etc., don't just take it out. For me, for example, I talked about this in one of the last lessons. This is where I used to party on the weekends. Instead, I would go on a run and I'd go to the luxury car dealerships. At first, it was difficult, but then started to love the process because I was growing while other people weren't. But I had to eliminate the negatives, the bad habits, and the people influencing me to make poor decisions that weren't serving my purpose and my goal, right? And then I had to replace it with another action or an activity that would help. Now, here's another thing. This is really where we're going to stop in this one, but this is emotional regulation. Emotional intelligence as a whole is one of the most highest paid skills on the planet, and yes, it's a skill. So in entrepreneurship, you have to understand, right? You get paid based off the size of the problem you can solve. We're going to keep saying that time and time and time again. Most people can't solve their own problems, and if you can't solve your own, you're not going to be able to solve other people's. So how the hell do you expect to make a lot of money? People that have a high level of emotional regulation and emotional intelligence, these are the people that seem never rattled. Think about Elon Musk, man. You got 12 kids, you're running all these different companies, you're doing all this crazy stuff, and he seems like he's a robot. How the hell does he not get stressed out, man? Like, this is something that as a high level operator, you have to understand. The more of it that you can deal with, stress, pressure, financial uncertainty, everyone else's problems, while staying composed. And that's the most important part, controlling the emotion, being composed, being positive, being forward focused, right? Being able to accept and address not only your problems, but other people's. Being able to do all that is going to earn you way more income. It's the truth, right? So the most dangerous person in any room is the one who cannot be rattled. And there's a saying that goes like this: you know you're going further than everyone else around you when you're going through more than everyone else. Yet you can handle all of their problems at the same time as your own, and none of them can tell you're even going through it. And so that is where you're going to stack a large amount of emotional regulation on top of each other, to where over the course of time, you have building blocks to where every single thing that normally was a problem for you, where all these little financial lapses and uncertainty, people quitting your team, people quitting your business, employees, disputes, complaints, etc. At first, these things seem like problems. And then as you grow, you solve higher level problems, right? This journey of entrepreneurship, scaling a brand, scaling an offer, scaling a team, having success, making money, the problems don't get easier, you get better. And emotional regulation and being able to solve higher level problems, not only for yourself, but other people, is how you're going to make a lot of money. And so you develop emotional regulation once you have the ability to control these things. And because your foundation is built from the habits, the alignment, and the belief system you've stacked daily, you are going to outperform other people. When you do all these things correctly, when you wake up, you have a solid routine, you're time blocking, you have a production window where you allot this to your highest income producing activities, right? This is content, this is prospecting, this is running team calls, whatever it is that's going to keep the needle moving forward, right? When you have that in place, when you're getting more done than other people, when you're doing more of what works, less of what doesn't, when you're putting the right fuel in the gas tank, when you're regulating the people around you and your environment, and you're associating with high level people, you're cutting out the negatives from your life, you're replacing them with good habits, good frequency, good people. And then when you're regulating your emotions and you're putting out fires, you're helping other people, you're staying composed, that's when you get what we call the flow state. The flow state is every good operator's goal in business. When you're in a flow state, this is where nothing phases you. This is where you see people like high-level athletes saying when they had a crazy game, I was in a flow state. Nothing stopped me. You don't even hear the crowd, the noise, the judgment, the criticism, all these things, the problems. You don't see any of it. Because when you do all these things right, you start to really identify what you're capable of. And most people are operating at 40% of their true potential. I got that from David Goggins, man. And so this is something that if you can instill as a video every single day, and this may be homework for you, I guarantee you, you're going to get more done in a short amount of time. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to look better. You're going to have a lot more people paying to be around you. Energy is currency. You're going to develop a lot more energy, a lot more clarity, a lot more focus, and a lot more ability to stay regulated throughout the problems you're gonna face inevitably in this journey when you do these things properly. People will pay to be around you. I had 12 people move out to my apartment complex in my first year and a half of network marketing or direct sales, and I was making very little money. It wasn't because I was making money and I was successful. It was because I did all these things, and although I was going through a bunch of bullshit, eviction notices, Ubering from 4 to 9 a.m., tuna cans and rice, selling my belongings, not going out and having fun, I was in a flow state. Nobody could have ever told. I had the world convinced that my life was the best because I convinced myself first. The belief system was there, the operating system was there, and everything that I just showed you was locked in. So this is day 3. On the next one, we're going to be continuing a little bit more on the personal development side of things. We're about halfway through week 1. So hopefully you guys are getting value out of this. If you guys stuck with me through the end of day 3, I want you to go into the comments and I want you to type flow state. I want to see how many of you guys watch this video all the way through. Once again, you can reach out to me on Instagram, Noah Ortiz Official, if you want to get a little bit more direction. I want to know how you guys' journey is going along with this. Give me some feedback. Let me know things that you'd like to see throughout these videos, things that maybe you want more explanation on. I'm here to help you, not hurt you. And I want to see other people go become the best version of themselves and go change the damn world. So we're on our way to building a dream business. Right now, we're building our dream self. Let's get it.